Good evening. Let me call the meeting Monday, April 21st, 2016. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
April 11th.
Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, roll call, please.
Ms. Christensen, Mr. Canepa,
Here.
Mr. Gingona,
Here.
Mr. Buenaventura,
Present.
Mr. Torres.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. We do have about 4 presentations tonight. First, let me go to the dais with Mr. Peter Wright, the nephew of Chip Wright. Mr. Wright. Great. Obviously, to my right is Mr. Wright. I just want to thank the Southern Hill Homeowners Association for being here. This is a special, special night. Chip Wright has done so much for the city of Daly City in terms of her advocacy. She's had a great life in terms of what she's done in education. So I'm just going to read a couple whereas clauses that I think are extraordinarily important. Chip had a wonderful teaching career. She taught 6 years in Lakeville, Connecticut, at Salisbury Central Elementary School, and from 1954 to 1958, Chip lived in Kobe, Sendai, and Matsushima, Japan, and taught American independence in 1958. She came to Daly City and taught the Jefferson Elementary School system until 1986. Where I've known Chip, and I think a lot of us have known Chip, is what she's done around Southern Hills. She's held the positions as president and vice president of the Southern Hills Homeowners Association, board of directors numerous times, and has represented the SHA in the Daly City Neighborhood Associations. Chip has been instrumental in ensuring that Southern Hills issues were heard. She has been a resource to new association members with her expertise and experience. Chip regularly and faithfully proofread editions of The Viewer. That's extremely important, before it went to the printer. She was no longer able to attend regular meetings, and she has made herself available to offer assistance whenever possible. Chip also served as president of the Democratic Club, a member of the Clean Community Committee, and volunteered at the Democratic headquarters during several elections. Chip was also honored by then Mayor Carol Klatt as Citizen of the Year in 2001. Chip has been a wonderful Southern Hills resident and loving owner of several house pets. She currently shares her home with Pookie, a beautiful, loyal black cat with an interesting history. Now, therefore, Mayor Sal Torres and members of the City Council of Daly City commend Eunice Chip Wright on behalf of the City of Daly City and its citizens for many years of loyal and dedicated service to the residents of Daly City, and expresses its deep appreciation for her many positive contributions and leadership, and offers its best wishes for his abundant health and happiness in all future endeavors. And then I have in my hand right here, it's a recognition from the State Senate from Mark Leno. It says, "Congratulations on the occasion of your 30 years of dedication of service to the Southern Hills Homeowners Association. Through your commitment as member and past president of the board of directors, the community continues to be a better place for all. Congratulations." I just want to say this. If there was a person who gave back to her community, there's no one who's done a finer job than Chip Wright. And you should be proud of her as her nephew, and we're lucky to have her in the city of Daly City. So congratulations.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. Thank you very much. Please say a couple of words if you'd like.
Good to see everyone. Chip was unable to make it tonight, but she's very aware of this and very appreciative. And of course, we, her family, are very proud of her. And just wanted to say on her behalf, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Are
you.
there any comments from my colleagues?
Very briefly, Chip was very instrumental. When I met her back in the early 90s, really was a wellspring of information about her neighborhood and about Daly City, and I learned a lot from her. So, and being a teacher was great to know that she devoted a major part of her life to teaching others. So you should be very, very proud.
Very much. Thank you.
Let me also say that I first met Chip at the home of Elsa Ramos, who is here tonight. She was just a wonderful person to meet. When I first met her and I was introduced to her, I said, "My name's Ray Buenaventura." This is when I first got on the council. And she just said to me, "I know who you are, and what are you going to do for us?" So I will never forget that, and I want to thank Elsa and for inviting me and meeting the neighborhood then. I'll always remember Chip as that person, and I'm just grateful. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, okay? Our next presentation is proclaiming April 10th through the 16th, 2016 as National Library Week in Daly City. Can I ask our Linda Gallione, the president of the Daly City Library Board of Trustees, to step up? Here you are, Linda. So, as mentioned, it's National Library Week, April 10th to 16th, 2016. I'm just going to read a couple whereas clauses. Whereas the traditional roles of libraries and librarians have evolved, providing more opportunities for community engagement and to deliver new services that connect closely with patrons' needs. Whereas libraries, librarians, library workers, and supporters across America are celebrating National Library Week. Now therefore, Saltoris, mayors, and members of the City Council of the City of Daly City do hereby proclaim this week as National Library Week in Daly City. All residents are encouraged to visit the library this week to take advantage of the wonderful library resources available at your library. Congratulations, Linda. Thank you.
Thank you very much for recognizing the National Library Week. Libraries are very important in the community, and that is the only resource of the people who have no computers, who have no access in books, in knowledge. So thank you very much for recognizing the library.
Thank you for your service on the library. Our next presentation is proclaiming April 22nd, 2016 as Earth Day. Mr. Gingona.
Thank you. Who am I presenting this to?
Helen Nicely. Is Helen here?
Helen here. Hi, Helen. How are you? If you bear with me very briefly, I just have to read a few words here. This is a proclamation of Earth Day. It's dated this date, or April 22nd, 2016, and it has a number of whereases here, but I'll just concentrate on the important ones. So, whereas on April 22nd, 1970, Americans came together to celebrate the first Earth Day to confront environmental issues and rally around a single message: the success of future generations depends on how we act today. Whereas a healthy and sustainable environment is the foundation of a vigorous society and robust economy, and the City of Daly City strives to collaborate with residents and businesses to create that environment in our community. The city began offering curbside pickup of food scraps and food soiled paper products in February 2016 in order to reduce the landfill-bound waste. We cut greenhouse gas emissions and produced nutrient-dense compost. The city's partnered with Republic Services, San Francisco Conservation Corps, Goodwill, Shred It, and other governmental programs to provide the 4th annual free Earth Day 2016 recycling event on Saturday, April 16th at City Hall, featuring e-waste recycling, document shredding, recycling and reuse of bulky items, free compost giveaway, and information on energy efficiency rebates, used motor oil recycling, and more. So at the end it says, now therefore the mayor, Sal Torres, proclaims April 22nd, 2016 as Earth Day. And he encourages all residents of Daly City to participate in one of these activities that protect and celebrate our environment. It's signed by all of us. It's for you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you to all the council members and everybody that supported this. I'd like to say a big thank you to the Muscle Rock Stars, wherever they are. I know my mother-in-law is in Florida trying to watch this, so yay, Maxine. So the other thing I'm really grateful for is I don't know if you realise this, but it's become very quiet where I live. In the Muscle Rock area, there's no trash,
Yep.
there's no trucks, and I think the airplanes have gone away as well. So it's gone very quiet, and I love it. Thank you, everyone.
Before you leave, do you remember the last time we saw each other? What were we doing?
We were doing a beach cleanup.
What were we weighing?
Was it bicycle?
No, we had picked up a number of specific items of waste on the beach that day.
I can't remember.
Anyway, it was I guess it was last year where you had assigned me to go down and pick up dog waste.
Oh, you picked up dog waste. Okay, yeah.
I remember telling my colleagues that we had picked up 12 pounds of dog waste in two and a half hours. So I was
Yeah.
surprised by two things. I was surprised that so many people take the time to bag it, but more surprised that they don't take the time to throw it away and haul it out. So this is it's kind of one of my pet peeves. I'm a dog owner. I
Right.
go to Fort Flunson all the time. I go to the horse trails all the time. If you're going to take the time to pick it up, you may as well haul it out. So, just words of wisdom. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Helen, thank you for all your work you've done down there. Thank you. So our final presentation is proclaiming April 17th to the 23rd, 2016 as West Nile Virus Awareness Week. Is there Trustee Fuller here? Is Trustee Fuller here? Megan. Yep, thank you. How are you? Great. So this proclamation is West Nile Virus and Mosquito and Vector Control Awareness Week. Whereas mosquito and vector-borne diseases continue to cause illness and death in California, including 737 illnesses and 45 deaths from West Nile virus in 2015. Whereas the mosquito and vector-borne diseases are likely to create new challenges for San Mateo County and the state of California in 2016. Now, therefore, Mayor Sal Torres and members of the City Council of the City of Daly City do hereby proclaim the week of April 17th to the 23rd, 2016 as West Nile Virus and Mosquito and Vector Control Awareness Week in the City of Daly City. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee.
Vice Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Good clap.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your support. I have a few things to say about invasive mosquitoes and Zika virus here in San Mateo County, and I brought a presentation, if we could get that queued up.
How long is your presentation?
It should take less than 10 minutes.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, we just have a big agenda. I just want to make sure.
I'll go really
on the
quick.
consent agenda, we do.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure that we're able to move through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Is there a clicker for me? Yes, it does. So I want to briefly introduce you to a couple of new neighbors for us in California. Here on the left is the Aedes aegypti mosquito. It's also called the yellow fever mosquito. This mosquito on the right is the Aedes albopictus, or the Asian tiger mosquito. I realize these probably look exactly the same to you. They just look like mosquitoes, but there is a difference. And the main thing I want to point out is that both of these mosquitoes are invasive to California. For that matter, they're invasive to the New World. These are mosquitoes that do not belong anywhere in the Americas. The reason that these are a big deal is because they transmit a number of diseases, including Zika virus, which has been in the news a lot lately. What you'll notice is that while Zika virus is being transmitted actively in South America, Central America, and Mexico, we have no active Zika virus transmission by mosquitoes anywhere in the United States right now. Zika is not the only virus these mosquitoes can transmit. We also have dengue. If you'll notice, dengue has been transmitted in Florida and Hawaii, but you'll notice nowhere in California. Also, chikungunya, despite a massive outbreak in Mexico and Central America, it's not currently being transmitted in the U.S., except for, again, Florida. And I'm sure you guys know Florida has a lot different climate than we do. So that's why we've had no transmission here in California. We do, however, have the invasive mosquitoes necessary for transmission of these diseases in California. These red dots are where you'll find Aedes aegypti. The blue dots are where you'll find Aedes albopictus. We do have Aedes aegypti here in our county. We've had some questions about that lately. The good news is Aedes aegypti is not common or widespread in San Mateo County. We found it in August of 2013 while we were doing routine surveillance for invasive Aedes mosquitoes. Throughout 2014, we engaged in an aggressive eradication program. We were able to determine the extent of its spread. In 2015, we found that there was no additional spread of this invasive mosquito beyond a small area of Menlo Park and Atherton. It's a neighborhood they call West Menlo Park. The last time we found any indication of invasive Aedes mosquitoes was in May of 2015. So we're going on close to a year with no detections. But unfortunately, that doesn't mean we can say we've eradicated them and they're gone. We're going to continue looking because these mosquitoes could be reintroduced to our county at any time. So that includes, we're going to be doing surveillance. We go house to house doing inspections. We conduct larval mosquito control. We do extensive public awareness to get people to tell us if they believe they've seen these mosquitoes. We're also engaging in a lot of preparedness and planning. So if we do find these mosquitoes in another area, we'll be poised to spring into action and try to knock them down again. But while everyone's talking about Zika, I do want to make sure that we've got on our minds, this is West Nile virus in the United States. You'll see it's in almost every state. In the U.S., in 2015, we had almost 1,400 cases of neuroinvasive West Nile virus. This is the severity of illness that results in usually lifelong disability. And we had 119 fatalities. Here in California alone, we had 544 neuroinvasive West Nile cases. These are people who are going to live with disabilities the rest of their lives. And we had 45 deaths. That accounts for about half of all of the West Nile-related deaths in the U.S. So on that cheerful note, if you guys have any questions, you can always find us online at smcmvcd.org, or you can give us a call, you can email, or you can come see me personally if you have any questions, you need more information about any of this.
I have a question.
Yes.
When you're trying to eradicate the Aedes aegypti, has there been any movement towards, I had heard something about the release of genetically modified mosquitoes to the environment in order to attack the Aedes aegypti. Is that also being done here?
That's not being done here. We don't currently have a large enough population of Aedes aegypti to really warrant that. The way that technique works is that you release these genetically modified mosquitoes, males only, and they're carrying a gene that causes their offspring to die immediately.
Right.
So these males go out and they outcompete the wild-type normal Aedes aegypti males by mating with females and having basically defective offspring. We don't have the kind of population where that would really be an effective solution here.
Okay. And then just as far as protecting yourself against the mosquitoes, is this Aedes aegypti in terms of, how do you say, maybe potency, how do we protect ourselves? Is it the DEET sprays that are out there, or is there another, and what kind of percentage of DEET spray would you recommend?
So I'm going to recommend that you always follow the CDC recommendations. It's going to vary. For children, you want a lower concentration of DEET, higher concentration for adults. There are some other active ingredients that are effective, but a lot of the botanical ingredients wear off much more quickly than DEET. So if you're going to be using those, we recommend that you apply more frequently. Beyond that, this is going to be the same precautions for any mosquito. Check your yard, dump and drain standing water, make sure your doors and windows are screened or tightly closed, and wear repellent or long sleeves when outdoors. The only thing that's different about Aedes aegypti is that it will bite during the day, unlike the mosquitoes that carry West Nile virus. So you're not safe at noon.
Great. Are there any more questions?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Ms. Caldwell. Appreciate it. Wonderful
We'll
presentation.
turn it over to Christine. I believe she had something to say.
I also want to take the opportunity, thank you, Trustee Fuller, for serving us so well on the board. I see that we have the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of
6, 8, and 13.
6, 8, and 13?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item number 6, accepting and appropriating $337,500.
Fuller still had a quick presentation.
Oh, you did? Okay, sure. Come on, Ms. Fuller. Please come up. Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Good evening, Vice Mayor Canepa, City Council, City Manager and Assistant City Manager and staff. If I appear a little bit uncomfortable, I had major oral surgery, so it might take me a little longer, or if I talk funny, you can go ahead and laugh. I'm here this evening to ask for City Council's consideration in opposing AB Bill 1362. I have sent emails to City Council and staff regarding this AB bill introduced by Assemblyman Rich Gordon that would allow changes to the appointment process statewide for approximately 65 mosquito and vector control districts. AB Bill 1362 is an act to add to Section Code of the Government Health and Safety Code 2021.5. Existing law authorizes the Board of Supervisors to appoint one person to the Board of Trustees and the city councils of each city that is located in whole or in part within the district to appoint one person to the Board of Trustees. So, for example, San Mateo County, okay? As amended, an act to add to the section code 2021.5. The paraphrasing is in the literature that I've sent to you before, but it would allow a city council located in the existing or a newly formed district as specified above to adopt a resolution requesting that appointments of persons to the Board of Trustees, this includes 65 states, instead be made by a city selection committee, and everyone is very well aware, those are all mayors of each city comprised of a committee, established pursuant to specified provisions of the law, and conditioned upon a majority of authorized city councils adopting their respective resolutions. The bill would authorize the city selection committee to decrease the total number of appointments to be made on the committee, but it would take a majority of city councils, which is 2/3 majority vote by law, and or 11 cities per
Got it.
county, okay?
Quick question for you.
Yes,
So you're asking, I see we have a letters
Yes.
in front of us. And so there have been several cities
Yes.
through these letters that have taken an opposition.
yes,
And so what I think what you're asking us is that if we would consider taking this legislation and taking a formal position to oppose it. Is that correct?
yes. The Mosquito and Vector Control Association of California, the League of Cities has taken the survey action. I thank Councilman Buenaventura and Vice Mayor Canepa for filling out the survey.
Got it.
They haven't taken an active position yet because this is only if the bill passes. To whereas the bill is in the Senate right now, unfortunately, we have a board majority in opposition, but it didn't reach the assembly in time. So currently, the city councils of Brisbane, East Palo Alto, Foster City, and San Bruno have officially opposed either by letter and or resolution. As you can see, East Palo Alto is pretty lengthy.
This
So-
sounds like a good idea. Why don't we do this? Why don't we,
And I did receive Mayor Torres's email
yeah,
in opposition as well.
okay. I'm, we'll have to take this up as a council. Maybe one of the things I can ask our fellow council members, if we're willing to put this on the next agenda, I'm willing to do that.
Yeah,
Is
I
there-
agree.
Okay,
I think
Yeah,
we
I
should.
mean,
so we'll
It's-
work with the mayor, but I think there's clear direction from the three of us.
if I may
to-
say one point of origin,
Yep.
as my proposed comments as an individual, the county also has other agencies such as Samtrans Board, which has an advisory committee. So these are made up of 15 to 26 people. CCAG, Bay Area Water Supply and Conservation, and the emergency services, the OES operations, they also have 26 members. So yes, please consider. I sent, I'm sorry if I sent numerous emails, but I wanted to give consistent updates. as per AB Bill
So we'll try to get,
1362.
thank you for your presentation. We'll try to get this on the next agenda, okay?
Thank you for consideration. Yeah, if it's, yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Fuller. So we have several items. I think you said you wanted to pull items 6, 8, and 13.
Yeah, Mr. Fuller could do them all, I think.
Mr. Fuller, please come up.
Actually, and you could have pulled number 5, too.
Okay, 5, well, I'm sorry, we already passed that, but you can talk about it anyway. How about that?
The Daly City Public Works staff, A1 Ritchie who's sitting right here, and Shirley Chan, if she actually got here in time, she's back there, have done a wonderful job at gaining grants for the city of Daly City. Altogether tonight, you're accepting almost $2.8 million worth of grant funds for various projects, mostly related to bicycle and pedestrian safety projects, which is item number 13 on the agenda tonight, the Vision Zero program. These two staff people were instrumental on very short timelines, putting in very complicated applications, especially for the $2 million ATP grant, the Active Transportation Grant, where if you'd seen the grant, it looks like a phone book, the amount of paper that has to be put in. They did get a little help from an intern who's no longer with us, Melody Leong, who helped fill out a lot of the paperwork on that and assist them with that. But they've been very aggressive at getting grants for the city for doing a lot of major pedestrian and bicycle improvement projects. It's going to take us time to actually spend that money. It'll probably take us two years to get it all spent, but in a couple of years you'll see a lot of projects come out of this, and I really appreciate the efforts they've made. So,
Last one,
Vision Zero.
This kind of ties it all together.
So the city, as you can see from all these grants we're getting and the master plan that we have for Bike and Ped and some other projects that we've already done, installing bulb outs on Mission Street in order to enhance pedestrian crossings, and another bulb out and bicycle ped project that we're doing on Geneva Avenue right now, are already focused on trying to improve pedestrian safety, because Daly City, unlike some cities, they don't have as many bicyclists here as they do pedestrians, where Daly City is a very pedestrian-oriented city. And although our traffic injury and accident statistics are not outrageously bad, there is about one fatality a year in the last 5 or 6 years of a pedestrian. We have about 60 pedestrian-related accidents every year. And by adopting this Vision Zero policy, it will help align some of our other programs to make sure that there's this focus on pedestrian and bicycle safety in the overall transportation program that sometimes gets forgotten. I don't think we actually have forgotten it here, because that's as shown by the efforts of getting the grants we're getting. But it kind of brings it front and center, and helps remind everybody by having this policy that we need to keep a focus on that with all of our projects that we build.
Thanks, John. You know, I'm the one that asked to have these pulled. I just wanted to call attention. There it is. I just wanted to call attention to the fact that Daly City has always been known as a city that does more with less. A city that thinks outside the box, that goes for grants, and is able to be successful in doing things like this. It's forward thinking. It's part of what I expect from the staff and what I expect from you, and what you've always been delivering in all of your years here. I think it's a wonder that you applied to different entities and were successful from different entities.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives people a perspective that we have talent on our staff to be able to develop these kinds of funds and these kind of funding opportunities. I'm proud of what you're going to do. I'm looking forward to those bulb outs and those things that are going to benefit cyclists in Daly City. I think that one of the outgrowths of our meeting with the Silicon Valley Bicycle Coalition, when we were thinking about adopting Vision Zero, was that they were going to reach out to our BPAC, our Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee, and do a presentation on Vision Zero and see if they could work together with them. And I think the idea when we met was to try to focus more on the issue of pedestrians, because we do have a lot of people that walk here. The Department of Public Health in San Mateo County has looked at this as a public health issue that they want to help be able to address. So these kinds of safety efforts are ones that we can collaborate with our county to be able to develop some metric to measure hopefully some progress on this goal of no pedestrian deaths. So I'm proud of what we're doing. And with that, I would like to make a motion, if we can indulge you, on 5, 6, 8, well, 5's already done, 6, 8, and 13.
Great idea. Mr. Buenaventura, can I get a second?
Yeah, second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Gingona,
Aye.
Mr. Buenaventura,
Aye.
Mr. Canepa.
Aye. Thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. Gagono, for your wonderful work in this area. That's the end of our consent agenda. I do have one speaker card, and I am going to be very disciplined in keeping you to the 2 minutes, so Ms. Mann, please come up. Thank you. I thought that was funny, huh?
Thank you.
Good evening, council members. In the last couple of years, we've had a problem with shopping carts, especially in areas where there's a lot of apartments. I talked to Peter about 6 months ago, and I've talked to him again, and I keep giving out this number. But Thursday, one of the seniors said, "This has got to stop." And I said, well, why doesn't the stores recommend they go buy this cart for less than $15 and then use it? But I checked with all the stores that the carts were on there, and there were 6 or 7 of them. They all have written material on their walls. Do not remove the carts from our property. Okay. On Thursday night, I got this message. So Friday, I went to Southgate from Sullivan to St. Francis, which is only 2 blocks. There were 17 carts. Pacific Market, Target, Safeway, Sprouts, Home Depot. I mean, it's ridiculous, and it can be very dangerous. What I would suggest is that I have the number here for the cart to call a city, but also one of the stores suggested that the city cite the people they see walking down the street with the cart for $50 citation would be the first offense, and then if they return the cart to the store, then it would be nullified. The problem that we have now, it's become very, very dangerous. People on bikes with strollers, it's something that's getting to the point where the seniors, especially in these very polluted with hundreds and hundreds of apartments, they cannot afford to drive. And I would like you to address that and maybe come up with something. I will give you the shopping cart number. The shopping cart number is 650-991-5525. And if people, when they see carts, would call the city, that would help. But when Mrs. Gordon fell and broke her ankle, why should an 83-year-old person have to worry about carts on Daly City streets? It doesn't make sense. Thank you.
Marion, thank you. I guess on a staff level, you could talk with staff after, and thanks for...
We'll look into
Yeah,
it.
you'll look into it. Thank you, Ms. Martell. Are there any more speakers? Sure, bring your card up. What's your name there?
Hey,
Mr. Jerome, how are you?
Roger, how you doing, Mayor, Council, City Manager, everybody? I'm just observing the City Council meeting, so I just want to give y'all a kudos to say I've seen some City Council meetings that's just been, crazy, but this has been very professional, very, as a graduate student, learning about local government, this has
Can you
been
give 'em
very
3 minutes?
understanding. So I just want to give y'all kudos.
All right. Thank you, Jerome. Wow. I don't know him. All right, with that, we're on to appointments, board commissions. Unfortunately, I've been informed that my commissioner, Reina Meafua, has resigned. Tonight, I'm appointing someone to the Library and Recreation Commission. Her name is Vivian Arroyo, so I'm making a motion to approve Vivian.
I'll second that.
Have a roll call, please.
Mr. Gingona.
Aye.
Mr. Buenaventura.
Aye.
Mr. Canepa.
Aye. Congratulations, Vivian. Item number 15, we have council committee reports. Are there any council committee reports at this time? Item number 16, we have a city council report. Are there any city council reports?
I've got a very brief
Sure.
one about what we did last week. It was busy. Let's see, last week, in case you were wondering, there's a story about this Army corporal who had been missing since 1951. His name was Army Corporal Robert Graham, and what happened was he was missing in action in 1951, and just recently his remains were found. They did some DNA testing, and they found two of his niece and his nephew. His remains were sent back, and there was full military honors at Dugan's Mortuary. We went over there. The full council signed a commendation. I was able to present it to the nephew, the niece of the deceased Army Corporal, Mr. Graham, and it was a great honor to be there. Like I said, full military honors. There were many people in uniform there, myself included. But to honor, it was interesting to note that although these two had not met him, the niece and the nephew had not met him, the nephew was a gunnery sergeant that had seen combat and was retired. And the niece had gotten to know the deceased, Mr. Graham, or Corporal Graham, by way of letters that her father had left for her. And during her father's life, she never had a chance to read those letters after he died. She read two of those letters that were like from 1949 and 1950, and it was as if it was the same day. The feelings, the thoughts, the love in the letters were really poignant. So I want to just recognize the fact that he died for his country many years ago, and we were able to honor him here at Dugan's Mortuary. Today, you might wonder why I'm wearing this. Today was a day of valor, commemorating the fall of Bataan, the 74th year, the fall of Bataan, the Bataan Death March. And I was at the Philippine Consulate today because there was a Pearl Harbor survivor, and there were two survivors of the Bataan Death March that were there, one of which is the grandfather of Rosie Tejada, PFC David Tejada, who survived that horrendous death march and was there. We were able to honor them for their service and for the many years that they've put in. On a related note, Major General Tony Taguba is going to be in town on April 17th, and he's going to be here talking about a few things. He's going to be in town specifically discussing Filipino Veterans Recognition Education Project. And what that is, basically, is his seeking recognition, the same kind of congressional recognition that the Tuskegee Airmen got and that the Fighting 442nd got in World War II. And the issue is he's trying to get congressional members of Congress to vote to give them the recognition that they deserve. It's an uphill battle, but he's going to be coming here, like I said, on April 17th. He'll be at Holy Child in St. Martin's Episcopal Church at 1 o'clock on Sunday, April 17th, to talk about that. The other side of that is he's also going to be advocating for another issue that's pretty close to him, and that is that in our state, he's trying to hopefully comply with California legislation AB 199, which aimed to include the role of World War II Filipino soldiers in the historical and social sciences curriculum framework for grades 10 to 11 in California. He believes it's important, as I do, that people in California, our youth, learn about the sacrifices that had occurred in the Philippines by Filipinos and Americans fighting side by side. So he will be here to discuss what the organization's work. The organization is the Baton Legacy Historical Foundation, run by Cecilia Gerlon, and they're going to be talking about what their efforts are in trying to change the curriculum in California to meet the edicts of the past legislation, AB 199. So that is what I'd like to invite you to do. And like I said, today is just a day of remembrance, a day of valor, and I wanted to bring that to your attention.
Okay, I did receive this, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that there's the America Cancer Society's Relay for Life Daly City event Thursday, April 14th, from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Chevy's, South San Francisco, 141 Hickey Boulevard. Before we get to the staff report, there's one person I failed to recognize, and I just saw her. I want to thank you, Elsa Ramos, for all you do and what you've done for the city. You're out of the corner of my eye, but her and Chip have a long legacy of working together. Great community people. So thank you, Elsa, for all you do, okay? With that, can I have a staff report?
I actually have no staff report this evening for you.
Ronnie wants to say something.
And I appreciate your
Thank you, Ms.
saying about the American Cancer Society. Those that want to attend must have a flyer.
Got it.
So if it's on, those people that are home and watching this, I will be outside the door.
Passing out flyers.
Handing out the flyer, because Chevy's needs to have that with your bill when you pay it.
Can you repeat that again, just? So
Yes, those that are coming that are at home and don't have a flyer, for those people that are here, we have flyers on the table. Right, but I will be outside Chevy's door from 5 o'clock on for those people that just want to come, because they must present the flyer with their bill. And they will give us 20%, which is a nice take towards Cancer Society.
Okay,
Thank you.
let's see everyone there on the 14th.
That's this Thursday.
Okay.
Okay, we do have several adjourned in memories. Mr. Gingona.
Or me.
Mr. Bonaventura has one.
I have several, actually. If we could adjourn in memory of Frank Bell. Frank Bell is an attorney in San Mateo County. He's been practicing law for a very long time. He was the former California State Public Defender. He was just a really good guy, a really nice guy that I've gotten to know, and he was a real fighter for his clients. So, Frank, God bless you and your family. Garrick Liu is an attorney also who recently passed away. He's one of the greatest lawyers of our lifetime. He is the founding member of the Asian American Bar Association and the Asian Law Caucus. Garrett was a true civil rights leader and someone that many in the community, especially the Asian American community, think of as a hero, and I join in that as well. God bless you, Garrett Liu. And finally, to Monty Martinez. Monty was a founding member of the Filipino American Democratic Caucus. He was a great community leader. He was always there for all the events and organizing the Filipino Americans throughout the state. Monty, I'm going to miss you, and God bless you as well. Thank you.
Okay, we have several more adjourned memories. I want to adjourn memory of Chris Carpenter. Thinking of Chris and his family, he had succumbed to a long-term illness. Also want to adjourn memory of Ronald Orr, retired Daly City Plant Equipment Maintenance Mechanic, served 8 years in WWR and retired in May 2013. And then Jane Weard, retired from the Daly City Finance Department as Secretary 3, Deputy City Treasurer on 4/30/86. Temporary employment as Secretary 3 in the City Manager's Office from 1989 to 1993. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Great. Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you.